Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to Apply. All right, so today I have Kianga Moore on the line, and she's founder at Art Life Holdings and World's Edge Media. Kianga, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so we got a lot to talk about today, so I definitely want to get into what you're doing over at Art Life Holdings and also World's Edge Media, but I guess just to get us started here, I believe, correct me if I'm off on this, you were at the FII in Miami, and I think you've attended some other ones. Is that right?
Yes, I also attended the FII big conference in Riyadh in October.
How did you get introduced to, because I'm a newbie, this is my first year, and I'm definitely going to be attending and doing more, and I've been doing this whole interview series. I've literally done, I think, over 50 interviews so far from the conference, and I've just met a ton of amazing people. How did you originally get introduced to the organization?
Well, it happened from my work, from my writing on LinkedIn. So one of the, representatives, PR representatives, they said, hey, I like your work. They actually pitched me a story. And then from there, they invited me to attend the media briefing that was in New York in September with Richard Atteas. So I was able to have someone cover that, and then that led to being invited to cover and attend Riyadh. So it's based on my writing.
Have you ever been to Riyadh or anywhere in that area or geography or?
No, it was my first time, but
what was that like?
I did a little research about yourself. Well, from being from Michigan, we have the largest Arab population. So for me, it was very comfortable being in Riyadh. The people were very welcoming, kind. It was very clean. I felt very safe. So I love my experience. I'm actually in Riyadh currently.
Oh, wow. Shout out to Dearborn, right? I'm from Michigan, as you're aware.
Right?
So I grew up right next to Dearborn. Shout out to all my friends out in Dearborn. Love it. So that's great. So what were some of the things like that as something happened as you go to these conferences and it's made some changes? I don't want to speak for you, but it's made some changes in growing your global brand and what you're doing. So you mentioned even that you're in Riyadh right now. So, talk about this build-up. So what's taken place since?
Well, I've met some really amazing people. As you said, you've interviewed some great people. The people that attend to me, are brilliant, open-minded, and looking to connect to drive the future forward. So I met like-minded people and connected with them, and we kept in touch. And I actually ended up doing business with a couple of the individuals I had met, and actually met with one of the individuals from October. So that's who I met with now. And so they introduced me to a couple of business owners here in Riyadh that are on the creative scene. So there's a lot of networking that happened. I met some great individuals, such as the owner of Unicoin. It's a cryptocurrency company. I ended up interviewing this first Latin woman that brought her brand to unicorn status. So, and she even talked about how the networking at FII is just amazing. She's like, it's just the best. So it's been great.
Let's switch it up a bit here. Talk a little bit more about what you're doing at Art Life Holdings and also World Edge Media. Where do you want to start this?
Well, just to start, Art Life Holdings is actually the parent company for my other brands. So I decided to create a holding company to shelve all my brands and creative businesses. So part of Art Life Holdings is Art Life Creatives. And so that's where it's a creative agency and cultural brokerage firm. And so we focus on building bridges and connecting creative talent, cultural experiences, and business opportunities across global markets. So I just saw how creativity, culture, and economic development, are intertwined. And that's something that I've been focusing on since 2017. And so through that, I also...
No, go ahead, please.
Well, to continue on, I worked with Broadway as well. So my goal is to bring that type of experience to this region of the Middle East.
So where do you see the opportunity out there? Like that, since you've been out there, you're learning, you're traveling, where do you see the opportunity?
Well, Being in Riyadh, I've been all over the world. I've been in Africa as well. I've lived in Benin Republic for some months. So when you go to these countries that are developing, it's always like a new energy. So with Riyadh, they have such a specific, vision. I know you're familiar with 2030. That's their vision. And they're really pushing their culture and their society into the future. And so they're taking a hold to creativity and entertainment and expressing themselves, which is something that they haven't done before. So that's where I see the opportunity as a creative person. Even though they're embracing technology, AI as well, it's still something that's appreciated here is creativity, and that's something that's being built.
What kind of advice would you give to founders or creatives in general that because I think it's super interesting that you go out there and seek out these different opportunities to the point to going to live other places and meeting, and you're definitely traveling and you're on the cutting edge of this stuff, I would say, based on what I know. What kind of advice would you give to others, creatives and, producers that are looking to explore new markets like you're doing very consistently?
I would say first define your core mission clearly and just see everything that happens as intentional. Even if it's a pivot or if it's a setback, look at it as a way to grow from it and then define what you want to do. Second, I would say definitely staying solutions oriented and solving, real world problems. And just building genuine relationships are also very important. I think that's my strong suit. It's just building relationships and connecting with people, on an individual level. And I think that's also that's something that you could take everywhere with you. And it crosses cultures and industries. So that's another thing, just being genuine when you're building relationships.
Now let's take it a little bit more specifically to doing business maybe in Saudi or just, is any nuances there or things that I know you're already worldly before this particular experience, but any nuances or tips or things, you know what I mean, on doing business in Saudi or even making it out there?
Well, I'm new to this region, but I would definitely say I've observed is, just being genuine, like I mentioned, and also just getting to know people and what they're looking for, not forcing your vision onto them, allowing them to tell you, this is what I'm looking to do. This is what I see for, my business, my brand, and just being more of a collaborator instead of someone that's saying, hey, this is what you're supposed to do. And because this creativity and developing this space in this region is so new, you have to allow people to also learn, but then also develop their own skill sets. So giving people the tools that they need to succeed is also important, I would say, when you come to Saudi Arabia. Instead of, you can be the expert, but you also have to pass on your knowledge and allow them as well to be independent and create their own lane.
And now as a journalist, what drives your creative fire, if you will, or what gets you going as a journalist?
I love exploring new places. I love new places. I'm just I probably want to move here because it's new for me. So I lived all over the country, in the U.S., but I lived in New York, I lived in Los Angeles, Las Vegas, all the, epicenters of the U.S. But being here, I'm just driven by people's stories. I'm just curious about human beings. I'm curious about what makes them work. And I like to just get to know what they experience and then highlight that.
As a business owner, specifically as a media business owner, where do you see the opportunity out there? Where do you see oh wow, this could be a long term, could be some long term partnerships, or there's opportunity.
Oh yeah, I definitely, today I had a meeting that went really well, and I just, after that I left and was thinking this is definitely something that's long term and something that you can't just come here just overnight and expect to take over, because you're literally building a whole new industry, a whole new culture. So it's going to take patience, and it's going to take persistence. So I would definitely say just being patient and persistent is something that's needed with developing new ideas and new pathways in business. What's
one of your favorite, it could be stories, it could be pieces of content, but, since you've been kind of on this journey, any highlights, or works or things that you want to talk about that you've done or are working on?
Let's see. Well, it's something that I was really proud of. I just interviewed Denzel Washington and
wow,
Brian Moreland.
That's absolutely amazing. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. It was for the Broadway play that's out now, Othello. And how that happened, why I say relationship building is so important, because I used to work as a Broadway press agent. And because of my relationships with there, I was able to still keep in touch, with one of the individuals, one of my old colleagues. So she branched out on her own, and we kept in touch, and I freelance, and I contribute to other outlets. And so it just ended up, hey, we would love for you to interview him. And I interviewed in Denzel Washington. I was very persistent and was able to get that interview. So that was something I was proud of, because it took a lot of persistence and just patience and kindness, and it worked out.
Man, that's great. I like to hear Michiganders doing it like that. That's what I'm talking about. That's amazing. I love it.
Yeah,
this is great. Sure. Yeah, a smile to my face on that one. That's for Michigan right there. I love it. Well, Kianga, this has been a great having you on the show today, learning more about your work, and I'm so proud just to hear. And I love that, spreading that message out there and getting that Michigan name, that Detroit name all the way around the world. Like I said, there's Detroiters everywhere. So appreciate you coming on the show today. What if somebody's listening or watching this and they want to follow up or learn more about your work or follow you on social or anything else? How do they connect?
Oh, I'm on LinkedIn. You can find me at Kianga J. Moore. I just keep it simple.
Amazing. And for everybody watching, just so you know, we'll definitely put the links in the show notes so that you can just click on it and head right on over. And speaking to the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. Each and every day we're bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way on your journey as well. So again, hit that subscribe or follow button. And Kianga, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.